So if I invite you to move into your heart, do you know what to do? Do you know how to do that? Now, I've had people look at me and they say, well, Greg, that's silly. Of course I know how to move into my heart. And then when they're tested in the laboratory, what we discover is this, that we in the West are so conditioned as a general population. We're so conditioned to living in our brain that when we're asked, when we're invited to move into our hearts, we stay in our brain and think about what it would be like if we were in our hearts, but we're still in our brains doing it. To me, this is the advantage. This is the power of spending time with our indigenous family, with our brothers and sisters in those monasteries and those nunneries and in the jungles of the Yucatan and the Andes Mountains, because they have the same questions and they go through the same process as we do when we try to access our hearts, and they've had to learn. And while we can glean from texts and books, there's nothing like sitting with a shaman or a monk or a nun in their monastery, in their land, in their place, their sacred place, and looking them right in the eye and asking them, how do you do this? How do you move into your heart? So let's do this. Let's take this opportunity together in this intimate moment and begin the first step of the process that opens the door to these amazing, empowering, extraordinary mystical experiences. Let's move into our hearts. So I'm going to invite you first to simply close your eyes so that you are shifting your awareness from the outer world into your inner world. And this sends a very powerful signal to your body. This is the first step. A very powerful signal that you are now turning your awareness, focusing inward. And I'm going to invite you to shift that focus from your mind into your heart. Your awareness will shift to the place of that sensation. So when you touch your heart center, your sternum, right here, your awareness is going right there to your heart. And this is one of the keys that we find in the indigenous communities to beginning this process, to moving into our hearts. All right, once we are in our hearts, right here, begin to breathe a little slower than usual. Whatever's comfortable for you, maybe 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale. This simple act sends a very powerful second signal to your body, because the only time you would slow your breathing to 5 seconds in or 5 seconds out is when you are safe, or when you feel that you are in a place that's safe. We have moved our awareness from our mind into our heart, and we are breathing a little slower, as if the breath is coming from our heart. And I'm going to give you a moment just to do that. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to invite you to ask your heart a question, any question, something that you've always wanted to know, and every time you ask another person, they give you a different answer, so you don't know which is right and which is wrong, and you feel like you're pulled in a million different directions. So you have this opportunity now. Your heart knows. So here you are, in your heart right now, accessing 40,000 sensory neurites that think, feel, and remember independently of those in the brain. Ask your heart a question. And it doesn't take long to answer, because your heart doesn't tell you a story. The heart answers in brief, concise statements that have no judgment and no fear and are meaningful to you.